Welcome to HTML. This is where it all starts. HTML is the basic building block language of the internet. It was originally invented by this guy, a guy named Tim Berners-Lee. In the early 90s, he was coming up with some different ways that people could share scientific data. And that's really what it started out as, a way to share scientific data between scientists. Then later, web designers got their grubby little hands on it and started going all kinds of crazy. And this is really where you're going to want to start, because HTML is the building block behind everything on the internet. So let's just start right there with HTML. What does it stand for? Well, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's hyper because it's shooting all over the internet really fast. It's going to be made of text. You'll see it in a little bit. And a markup language is a language that's really designed to change the way things look that appear on the screen. Let's take a look at some HTML. For example, here we've got Amazon's page. In Firefox, if I go up to View, down to Page Source, it opens up. I can scroll through it and you got a whole bunch of junk in here. Some of which actually isn't HTML, it's cascading style sheets or some other languages that you use on the web. But a lot of it is HTML, for example, the stuff that we're looking at right now. I know it looks like a bunch of junk to you right now, but later on we can come back and look in here and you'll go, oh yeah, I understand a whole bunch of that stuff, and you'll feel really cool. Now, HTML is really only one part of building websites, so it's the good place to start, but it's not really the whole thing. So sit back and kick back and relax, and we're going to take it from you never touched it ever before. First, let's go ahead and talk about how HTML even works. It's pretty easy, actually. Let's say that you had a word on the screen. I don't know, maybe something like my name. Hey, what's up? I'm David. And you wanted David to show up on the screen but be in italics. Well, what you'd do is you'd get right in front of David and you'd use this little code called a tag. You can recognize tags because they come in these little triangular little carets. The I tag or italic tag basically says, okay, everything after this is italic. And it means it. So it sees it there, sees David after it. David isn't in those carets, so it goes, oh, I'll put that up on the screen. It puts it up on the screen and makes it italic. So let's say we've got my last name sitting up there. Italic or not? Well, it's italic because when you have the italic tag, it says everything after this comes on the screen and goes in italic. So if there's a way to turn it on, there has to be a way to shut it off too, right? Well, there is. And the way that that works is it's usually the same exact thing with a slash in front of it, called a closing tag. So you've got the italic tag that says, hey, start it up. David shows up, goes on the screen, is in italic. Then it says, stop making things italic. And then Lieberman goes on the screen and is not italic anymore. Pretty easy, right? Now here's the cool thing about it. The tags, it doesn't really matter if they're in uppercase or lowercase. You can do whichever. Most people do them lowercase because in some languages later on it actually does matter. Spacing doesn't really matter. If I wanted to, I could have put 4 spaces in here. It would have done the same exact thing as if I just have 1. HTML by default only recognizes 1 space. If you're trying to get more spaces in there, you have to do some funky stuff and put in codes that make it say put in more spaces. It also doesn't care if you type it on all one great big old long line. For example, I could have typed it like this or like that, and it would have been the same exact thing. So later on, we're going to have to learn a little code that says go down a line. But for the most part, if you get that whole, hey, there's this little tag that says start doing something, and there's another little one that says stop doing something, that's pretty much how it works. So, not so tough, yeah? Okay, cool. Now, the first thing that you have to know is that every website has its own folder called a root folder, like the root of a tree, not like Route 66. And everything needs to go in that folder. And you can put stuff outside of that folder and you can make it work while it's on your computer, but when you upload it, it's not going to work anymore. So we're going to go ahead and create a root folder. So go ahead and get yourself onto the desktop of your own computer, either right-click or control-click if you're on a Mac. Go to New and choose Folder. I'm just going to creatively call it root folder. You can call yours whatever you want.